David Bell says the Reds are made whole again. Mike Moustakas, yes, that's him underneath that mask. Back in the lineup tonight, as is center fielder Nick Senzel. And making his 2020 debut is Tucker Barnhart. The Cubs and the Reds in round 3 of 4, but this one feels more like the opening game of the series. Hi again, everybody. Alongside Chris Welsh and Jim Day, I'm Tom Brenneman. Welcome as always to Reds baseball. Great to have you with us. And big time game tonight. Big time pitching matchup. We'll talk about those guys coming back a little bit later on. But clearly all eyes on Sonny Gray and Kyle Hendricks.
Well, I mean, both these guys are on top of their game and they're on the top of the rotation. Sonny Gray, what he did in his opening day start, really astounding. I mean, he's a power pitcher, even though he's 5 feet 10 inches tall. He goes at you with everything he has, and it's a lot of stuff. He's got a fastball mid-90s with a lot of ride on it. He's got one of the sharpest breaking balls that I've ever seen. And if he's got that kind of stuff tonight, you're going to see a lot of uncomfortable swings and very uncomfortable at-bats by the Cubs.
Well, the Chicago Cubs have made things uncomfortable for their opponents already this year. They're 4-1. They've scored first in each of their first 5 games. First time they've done that since they won the World Series. And look at their starting rotation.
Well, the rotation's been really good. I mean, even the guy who was a kind of a spot starter last night, Alec Mills, was just outstanding. And Hendricks, when you go out on opening day and you throw a complete game shutout, you're kind of setting the pace for the rest of the rotation. And the Reds get him again. You know, he has not added any velocity, but what he does is pick away at the corners like nobody's business. He's got a nice changeup. This year, however, the scouting report is his curveball is better than ever. So he'll use that against right-handers, mainly his changeup against left-handers. It's kind of a matchup between Sonny Gray, power guy, and Kyle Hendricks, control guy, and we'll see which guy ends up on top.
All right, when we come back, we'll check in with our main man, Jim Day. He is standing by. And a quick visit with Nick Castellanos in the start. He's off to his first season in Cincinnati.
Only at your Tri-State Chevy dealer. By Kroger, it's easy to place your order online and pick up at the store. Try it today at Kroger.com. And by Skyline Chili, feeling good. It's Skyline time. As Tom and Chris talked about in the opening segment, a full complement of a lineup tonight and maybe some guys turning the corner. Suarez got his first hit last night. And Nick Castellanos, when the Reds signed him in the offseason as a free agent, well, they expected a lot of extra base hits, doubles, and the long ball. And last night was able to hit his first home run of the 2020 season and drove it the other way. Just a picture-perfect swing. Now, Castellanos, former Tiger and a former Cub, but the splits last year before he was traded over to the Chicago Cubs, I mean, look at the numbers with the Tigers, 100 games, but in nearly just over half of the games, look at the numbers he put up with the Cubs. 321 average, 16 home runs as opposed to 11 in 100 games with Detroit, and nearly as many RBIs. The question has often been asked, Nick, why did you have so much success with the Cubs?
On a team and in an organization that is geared towards winning instead of developing, it can change the person a lot. And everybody says, like, oh, like, what happened to you in Chicago? You know, like, how, like, what was that? Well, I was the same exact kid. I was just put in an environment where winning was a priority, and I think that brings out the best in you, you know.
And it's one of the reasons that Castellanos said that he signed with the Reds. Obviously, there's money involved, but the window opening for the Reds, and they think they can win now. It hasn't started off that way here in 2020, but they hope it begins tonight, getting back in the win column. It is Game 3 of a 4-game set. The Reds and Cubs right around the corner here on Fox Sports Ohio.
Weather night once again in downtown Cincinnati. Reds have taken the field defensively. Umpires making their way behind home plate, where Freddie Benavidez and David Ross will exchange the lineup cards. And we're just moments away from Game 3 of this 4-game series. A 6:10 start for the finale tomorrow night. David's lineup presented by the Jeff Weiler Automotive Group. Chris Bryant back in there. He'll start at third base. Anthony Rizzo at first. Javier Baez hit 2 home runs. in Chicago's win last night. Middletown native Kyle Schwarber in left, Wilson Contreras catching, and Jason Hayward in right. The latter third of Ian Happ, Victor Caratini is the DH, and Nico Horner the second baseman. What a year it was. Went to the All-Star game, his first season as a National Leaguer. The native of Nashville, Tennessee, that's Sonny Gray.
And then over the wintertime, he had a little elbow operation where they took out some chips and cleaned up his elbow. And, you know, he came to spring training back in February feeling great, and he's got to be feeling great right now. What an incredible performance he had on opening day on Friday when he defeated the Tigers with 9 strikeouts in 6 innings. And he was really dealing. Had the fastball going, had the breaking ball going. And our Taco Bell take on Sonny Gray tonight. Let's go back to that Friday against Detroit, Dan. All the strikeouts that he had, he throws 4 pitches, but he only has strikeouts on the fastball and the curveball. And, of course, if you can be a 2-pitch pitcher in this league, I'll take Sonny Gray's 2 pitches any day.
Take a look at the Reds on defense presented by Ford. And as we mentioned, back in the lineup, just go right from the bottom, straight up the middle into center field, or come the other way. Senzel back in there. Started feeling ill, as you know, on Sunday, along with Moustakas. Both of them cleared to play after some debate, apparently. And Tucker Barnhart, after he and his wife Sierra welcomed the birth of their baby boy over the weekend, is making his 2020 season debut. What a matchup, what a matchup, and here we go. Sonny Gray cuts it loose, and that's low, ball 1, and we're underway. Bryant off to a very slow start. 1 hit in 17 at bats with 8 strikeouts. And on the ground to Freddie Galvis. He'll take that. 2 pitches to set down Bryant to begin the night. Well, we mentioned Sonny grew up down in Nashville, Tennessee. His father, Jesse, was his coach going all the way back to when he was a little boy. But then tragedy struck in their family. Jesse's father, a former pitcher for Austin Peay University, his football and baseball coach from the time he was 5 years old, was killed in a terrible car accident in 2004. It was Sonny Gray's freshman year in high school. He still has the word dad inside of his hat, and a legendary story about the very morning his father was pronounced dead. The unthinkable happened. Sonny decided to play in a high school football game that night. He went out there and his team won 28-6. Looked at his mom and his sisters and said, "I know Dad would want me to play." A 2-time state champion quarterback for his high school. 1-1 pitch, and Rizzo looks at a fastball in there. 1-2. When something like that happens in your life, and Chris, you know about losing a parent. I do as well. You grow up in a hurry. Doesn't matter how old you are.
Well, I think, Tom, that combined with the fact that they're going to call that a hit by pitch.
Wow.
I'll tell you, at some point, umpires have to be a little aware, and not only the home plate umpire, he may need some help out there from somebody else. That's not Rizzo trying to get out of the way of that pitch. And you have to make some kind of an effort to avoid being hit. But you rarely see it called, and he just bought himself a base runner. 5th time already this year. Of course, Rizzo is always the top of the leaderboard in hit by pitches. And now we know why.
Well, right now he's sitting near the top of the leaderboard in on-base percentage. I mean, he has 4 base hits, but as you mentioned, he's been hit by 5 pitches. He's been walked 4 times. On-base percentage at .500.
You mentioned Sonny Gray guided his high school team to 2 state titles down in Tennessee. That when you're the quarterback of a team, a championship caliber team like that, you're a leader. And I think that's where he has evolved in the Reds clubhouse right now. It makes him so valuable on those days that he doesn't pitch. Sometimes you have a tendency to overlook that, but you need to be a leader by being a really good player, number one, and being a really good person, number two.
0-2 on Javier Baez. Hit 2 home runs here last night. And that fastball off the outside corner to even the count on Baez.
Baez still looking for something to pull. You watch his front foot. He steps a little bit into bucket, slightly towards the shortstop, which means don't leave him something on the inner third, which is what he got a couple of times last night. Down and away, they're going to either or way inside.
Well, the core of the Chicago team, clearly the first 3 batters in the lineup, Bryant, Rizzo, and Baez, and Sonny Gray has been spectacular. And those are spectacular numbers. They're almost hard to believe they're that good for anybody. 2-2 to Baez. Got him swinging on that breaking ball you mentioned away.
Yeah, that swing should tell you something about Javier Baez. I mean, he couldn't hit this pitch with a boat oar, but he had made up his mind. It actually hit the chalk of the front part of the left-handed batter's box. And you have to tape 2 bats together to get that one outside there. But it gives you something idea about him. You're not afraid of striking out. He's cutting it loose, and he's made his mind up that he was going to get a strike to hit.
One more tough out to get here in the opening inning. The Cubs have a lot of tough outs. We were talking about that, Chris, off the air before the game. If they could get Hayward to play like they expect him to play, the real big question down that lineup is Ian Happ. He's had very good stretches. He's had extended bad stretches. If those 2 guys swing the bat better than average, this is some kind of lineup.
I never thought that anybody in Chicago thought that the offense would struggle here with the Cubs this year. Their question marks is going to be surrounded bullpen. We've already seen some holes there. Whether their rotation can continue to pitch the way they have the first time through.
Schwarber with a count of 1-1, short lead by Rizzo over at first, and a breaking ball smothered behind the plate by the former Gold Glove winning Reds catcher Tucker Barnhart. Good to have Tucker back here.
Yeah, it is. If you know that you're catching Sonny Gray, you know you're in for a working night.
I mean, he loves to bounce that breaking ball. He pitches a lot inside to left-handers. That was part of his success last year. More fastballs inside to lefties to set up the breaking ball.
Swing and a miss. 2-2 to Schwarber.
And really what Sonny likes to do after you establish that inside fastball, you throw a hard breaking pitch, same spot. Looks like a fastball because there's no hump in it.
Well, they're coming in. And that's a fastball with great movement at 94, and that's all for the Cubbies in the opening inning. A pair of strikeouts for Sonny Gray. The Reds face Kyle Hendricks when we come back. Having a few words, it looks like, with Anthony Rizzo.
Yeah, I think Rizzo's kind of smiling. Sonny's not. And I like that's a little old school gamesmanship right there. I love that. So you want to lean into a pitch? Well, maybe next time you won't have to lean in.
Sonny Gray's not the kind of guy that when he's out there on the mound, he's doing a lot of laughing and joking around with the opposition. Hendricks, a lineup he'll face for David Bell, presented by Jeff Weiler Automotive. Shogo in left, Votto at first, Suarez at third. Moustakas playing in just his 3rd game of the year. Castellanos is in right, Winker the DH. Senzel, for his first 7, playing in his 3rd game. Galvis and Barnhart 8 and 9. And Kyle Hendricks, 9 innings, 3 hits, not a single walk, 9 strikeouts in a complete game shutout of Milwaukee on opening day. He is quietly become one of the top 5 pitchers in the entire National League. You could make an argument just based on numbers that he's become one of the top pitchers in all of baseball. And I don't care what kind of numbers you want to start picking apart and doing whatever it is you want to do. His 3.14 earned run average ranks in the top 5 in the major leagues since 2015.
Well, he did win an earned run title a few years ago. He's very durable. He's consistent. He's very deceptive. He throws 4 or 5 different pitches and he throws them all for strikes.
And he has just put away Shogo on 4 pitches.
Kind of interesting because the way Hendricks pitches, you're going to see a lot of similarity between Alec Mills, last night's Cubs pitcher, except that Hendricks even has better control and maybe a little bit better stuff than does Alec Mills. Mills threw his curveball as slow as 66 miles an hour last night. Hendricks will not go that slow, but he'll be in the low 70s.
Joey Votto down a strike.
I mean, you're challenging hitters with an 87-mile-an-hour fastball when the major league average nowadays is about 94. I mean, you have to have confidence in your stuff, in your ability to be deceptive to even think about doing that.
Nothing and 1 to Joey. 7 hits, 21 at bats, and a fly ball into right field will be handled by Hayward. 2 gone. You know, I mentioned that among all active pitchers with at least 100 starts in the major leagues, okay? So guys that have been around for a little while anyway. Only Clayton Kershaw, Jacob deGrom, Chris Sale, and Madison Bumgarner have a lower earned run average since 2015 than Kyle Hendricks. That is tall cotton to be included with those names. Multiple Cy Young Award winners there. Speaking of Clayton Kershaw, who of course is out with the Dodgers. He was the last pitcher to throw a complete game shutout in an opening day performance until Hendricks did it last week. 2 up, 2 down for Eugenio Suarez. Finally picked up his first hit of the year last night. A little blue ground rule double down the right field line, but he was all smiles after getting. Like a lot of guys, Eugenio has had his troubles against Kyle Hendricks. Should be noted that when Hendricks came rolling in here last year, the final time he saw the Reds, they really banged him around. He didn't even get out of the 3rd inning. Fouled away again. He went 2 2/3, allowed 12 hits, 7 earned runs, and 3 home runs. Kyle Hendricks turns it loose and pulled foul. One ball, 2 strikes on Suarez, and Hendricks delivers. And another foul ball back to the screen.
Got away with one right there. That was out over the plate. Hendricks wanted that inside to kind of jam him with the 2-seamer.
Hendricks is the guy that we will see will take advantage of one of the new baseball rules out there, which allows pitchers to put a wet rag in their pocket. And he's got one in his right back pocket. You'll see him slip his hand in there. Then you have to show the umpire that you're actually wiping that moisture off. Supposedly.
Not much loud contact in this at bat, but an extended at bat nonetheless for Suarez. Hendricks originally chosen in 2011 by the Rangers out of Dartmouth College in Hanover, New Hampshire. That's right, Ivy League education. And then came over to the Cubs in the Ryan Dempster deal in 2012. What a trade that was for Chicago. 3-2. Gone swinging Suarez, and Kyle Hendricks, a 1-2-3 opening inning with a couple of strikeouts. Game on tonight in Cincinnati.
Said no, I'm gonna lead this squad, and that's not just a pitching staff leadership thing. He's going for the whole thing, and I think most people are in on it because he's truthful. He's got integrity. He does what he says he's going to do. He does it with energy, with conviction.
It has been very noticeable this year, and we all noticed it at the beginning of spring training in Goodyear, Arizona. It was almost like they flipped a switch, because last year, after the experience with the Yankees, he was kind of reserved and kind of just eased into the role. But this year he showed up from the get-go, was much more vocal, was much more outgoing. His sound bites were much more insightful, and as Curt Casali just took you behind the scenes, he is a leader. He had it in him, but it kind of took him a year to ease into it, and maybe that Yankee experience had him a little bit reserved.
Well, I mean, you can understand that. You know, you have the kind of success he had with Oakland. He had been to the All-Star game a couple of times. He was, you know, the big man on the block. 1-1 to Contreras, and then all of a sudden you go to that bubble, and it is very much a bubble there in New York City, and it's not cut out for everybody. It's not to say that Sonny Gray couldn't go back there again and pitch well if he ever had another chance, but for that particular year it just didn't work out. Boy, it is a tough place to play. Had multiple conversations with a lot of people for a long time about that very topic. You can be humbled in a hurry. Right back to the mound, and that'll take care of Contreras to begin the second inning. Now the right fielder Jason Hayward, a quiet start for him. 2 hits and 13 at bats. Straight up in the air on the first pitch. And Suarez on the infield grass squeezes it tightly. 2 down.
I think easy outs like that are very easy on the eyes of David Bell. You know, the way the bullpens have been for both of these ball clubs. I mean, they're somewhat of an unknown when you open that bullpen gate, but if you can keep one of your main starters like Gray or Castillo or Bauer out there just a little bit longer, maybe an inning longer, maybe even 2 innings longer, if they can be efficient with their pitches, then you go for it. A lot of times you have an inning. We showed it last night with Alec Mills. You have a couple of 7 or 8 pitch innings. Next thing you know, you're going deeper into the game.
Right on the ground of Otto. That could have been more than about a 7 or 8 pitch inning. He took care of the last 2 batters on a total of 3 pitches. 7 pitch inning for Sonny Gray. Ford. Hap flanked by Schwarber and Hayward along the infield. The regular crew. Bryant, Baez, Rizzo. Second base, Horner getting most of the playing time. Contreras behind the plate. Mike Moustakas back in the lineup. Has not played since the second game of the year. He had the monster game on opening day. 4 hits and 8 at-bats, a home run that came in the opener, and 4 runs batted in.
It looks like a different lineup with Moustakas in. I don't know what he's going to do tonight individually, but he brings more than just a second baseman who can hit to the party.
Hit that one off the end of the bat, inside of play.
I mean, he brings fiber. He brings a guy that just wants to play baseball.
Yep.
And really, that's where the focus of this ball club, the worst slump you get into, the more you have to just focus on playing baseball.
How about the members of the grounds crew getting behind Moustakas?
Let's give him something to moo about.
1-2. And hooked into right field. It'll hang in the air long enough for Hayward to get it sliding. Out number 1. Before the game tonight, they had a moment of silence for former Cincinnati Reds manager John McNamara. You may remember the Reds had finished second to the Dodgers 2 straight years in the NL West. Sparky Anderson was fired amid incredible controversy. John McNamara managed the Reds in 1979. That was the same year that Pete Rose left. As a free agent, he won 90 games, edging Houston by a game and a half to win the National League West. The Reds end up losing in the league championship series that year to the Pittsburgh Pirates. Won 89 games the next year and finished 3rd. And then you hit the season where in '81 they had the best overall record in baseball, but the split season format adopted because of the strike denied the Reds a place in the playoffs, where they finished second initially to the Dodgers, then the next half of the year second to Houston. But John McNamara was a beautiful, beautiful man. He passed away at 88 years old. Our condolences, our thoughts and prayers. His wife Ellen, their family, and so many friends from coast to coast.
Indeed.
Castellanos with a count of 2 balls and a strike. Reds still looking for their first base runner of the game against Hendricks.
3 consecutive changeups from Hendricks.
And this will find a hole. Horner able to get there in the outfield grass, but no attempt at a throw from his back. So the Reds get an infield hit by Castellanos.
Well, Castellanos, the more pitches he sees, the more he really is able to size up the pitcher. He waited back because Hendricks kept throwing him that off-speed 80-mile-an-hour changeup, and finally got one that he could put the barrel on. Got a quick timeout. Wilson Contreras goes to get a new glove.
Al Winker, 12 at bats so far this year for Jesse. He has 2 base hits. He was 0 for 4 last night. Or actually was taken down for a pinch hitter, so wound up 0 for 2. He did draw a walk and scored on a Castellanos home run. Runner goes, pitch taken. And I mean out by 10 feet is Castellanos. Both times he has taken off stealing. He has been thrown out by a mile.
Yeah, well, you know, we don't know whether he's got the green light all the time or not, but not a good combination to even try a stolen base. Hendricks is very compact to the plate. And behind the plate, Wilson Contreras has maybe the strongest arm, if not the strongest. Certainly he's got the second best pop time of any catcher in the National League. And if his throw's on the money, you're going to be out.
And you brought up the other time Castellanos attempted to steal. We wondered if there was a missed hit and run.
Yeah.
And you always wonder something like that. Castellanos is walking up and down the dugout and seemed to be asking some of his teammates a question while he was down there. Swing and a miss. 2-2 to Winker.
That's one thing we miss, you know, with the way the COVID protocol is. We can't get near the players, can't get near the coaches. Any interview that they do, of course, is a Zoom call. And, you know, some of those just, you know, the conversations that you have with a coach or a player, kind of off the record, but just for some information, those don't occur. And it's a little more difficult to kind of get the inside scoop. Even Jim Day, as inside as he is,
oh boy,
has got a barricade between him and the locker room. I know that probably keeps him awake at night.
Check swing roller up the line. Hendricks will get there. The inning is over. One hit, none left. We played two. Gray and Hendricks going toe to toe tonight. Baseball is back, presented by Taco Bell, and we're back at Great American Ballpark. Scoreless game, and we figured runs and hits would be very much at the premium with this sparkling pitching matchup tonight of Gray against Hendricks. Caratini, the DH, breaking ball, strike one. Caratini 4 hits and 13 at bats with a double and a run batted in. And that's strike three called on the inside corner. A 94-mile-per-hour fastball by Sonny Gray. More importantly, all kinds of movement.
This is really what opened up everything for Sonny Gray. And I don't know whether it was something he came up with. Maybe Derek Johnson was involved in that. Maybe Caleb Cotham, but I mean, to be able to control your fastball that was that much run on the inside part of the plate to a left-hander, I mean, it opens everything up. I'm sure that Sam LeCure will talk about that after the game. That was his main pitch.
Yes, he was good at it.
Front door fastball.
Second baseman is Nico Horner, off to a good start, playing regularly. Jason Kipnis will get a start from time to time. We saw Kipnis last night in the DH role. But Horner is a guy. 3 runs batted in, 1 double. What a breaking ball that is. Horner last night drove in 2 runs. He has 20 runs batted in his first career 24 games since he made his major league debut last September. But he is overmatched in that trip to the plate by Sonny Gray. First time through the order for Gray, 4 strikeouts. He's not allowed to hit.
I mean, he gets such bad swings on his breaking ball, doesn't he? I mean, we've already seen Javier Baez wave at something just about in the same spot, but that was a full swing. Here's a check swing. He knew he went. Lance Barksdale saying, yep, you went and you better run.
Back to the top of the order we go. Bryant down a strike.
You know, Tom, but this matchup that we have tonight, Gray versus Hendricks, you have one of the leaders in baseball with the spin rate on his fastball. That would be Sonny Gray. He's got tremendous spin rate versus a guy that has one of the lowest. I think Sonny Gray is about 6th or 7th best in all of baseball, and Hendricks is about 5th lowest. And if you see how differently they pitch, you'll see why they use what they can do. Sonny Gray busting that 94 in on the first base side of home plate. Kyle Hendricks kind of feathering a little changeup on the edge.
Breaking ball fouled out of play by Bryant, and Sonny ahead at 1 ball, 2 strikes.
For me, that's what makes pitching so fascinating, is because there's so many different ways you can get it done. So many different ways you can get a hitter out, or so many different ways you can entice the hitter to get himself out, the way that Hendricks does.
Sonny trying to put away Bryant. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Puts him away on a breaking ball, and that's at 5 punch outs for Gray, including the side here in the 3rd.
Crew, as you can see, they are socially distanced now. The players have picked up on this so much and have been so impressed with the cheering that the grounds crew has done. They showed up today with a big box near the clubhouse, and it was Joey Votto that bought them some noise-making items. Items that you would see fans at maybe a baseball game or an NFL game, and a whole box worth that he was so impressed with. They also went out and bought some moose antlers, which they gave to me. But you want to talk about going the extra mile, that would be the grounds crew. They do a terrific job with the field, but they are the only cheering section as we speak right now. And I got a little noisemaker myself down here. We're not supposed to cheer in the media. Don't let anyone know I'm down here cheering.
Well, someone once said rules is made to be broken. I will bet you an ice cream sundae, Jim Day, that will be trend setting for other grounds crews around baseball. I would bet on it.
There we go. I also got word that the Cubs players were very, very impressed.
Oh, were they?
With the Reds grounds crew, and they would hope that their grounds crew would pick up the slack as well.
I'm telling you.
So I think you're onto something.
We're going to see it for sure. Into the outfield grass, and Galvis is out. 2 very quiet outs to begin this inning. Senzel got jammed down around his knuckles, and now Galvis on a roller to the right side off an inning where Sonny Gray struck out the side in the top of the 3rd on a total of 11 pitches. First plate appearance, first game of the year for the Indianapolis, officially Brownsburg, Indiana native, Tucker Barnhart. Boy, he is so very much a huge part of this team. And in his first AB of the year, he dumps one into left field for a base hit. I mean, he's become like an old shoe around here in a lot of ways, you know?
Well, he hit it like he threw it. Little roller breaking pitch and a little roller, a little bloop job in the left field. Take about 200 of those.
He is so well liked and so respected by each and every member of this Reds organization. And I don't mean just the ones who put on the uniform every day. I mean all the way up to the front office, to the employees. Just a really, really good dude.
And around the league.
Yeah, around the league.
But I think catchers have an advantage in that respect because they get to talk to the hitters one by one when they come up. Foul ball, timeout, something like that. They get to visit a little bit. We never really
kind of snoop in on them because catchers are wearing a mask. You never know. We always look down there to first base and see that conversation.
Shogo struck out his first time up against Hendricks. Hendricks with a pair of strikeouts. Gray has 5. Reds have 2 hits. Cubs have none. Only base runner of the game for Chicago was that ball that barely grazed the knee of Anthony Rizzo in the opening inning on a breaking ball. Shogo chases up in a strike zone. 2-2. Pulled into right field, a base hit by Akiyama, and advancing on to second base is Barnhart. So some noise here for the Reds. Now that ball was hit hard.
Yeah, nice adjustment really from first at bat to this at bat for Shogo Akiyama. He looked a little bit out of sorts with Hendrick pulling the string on him, changing speeds. That time he really weights back. He's got kind of a leg lift anyway. Sometimes if you face a guy like Hendricks who's throwing a lot of changeups, you get that foot down too soon and you're going to be out of timing. But he stays back very nicely and hits a rope.
The Reds have not held a lead in a game since the 7th inning of game 2. And Votto trying to change that right now. That was the inning, the 7th inning, the second game of the year. In relief of Castillo's marvelous start, where Miguel Cabrera hit that long home run to left field, and the Reds have never had a lead in a game since. Can Joey Votto change that right here and right now? Votto, a soft line drive to right field his first time up. Hendricks ahead at no balls, 2 strikes.
Well, you think you're ready for that changeup until it comes out of his hand and he sells it like it's about 5 miles an hour faster than it really is. Same arm slot, same delivery, different speeds.
Votto has had extraordinary numbers against a lot of pitchers in baseball, but look at those numbers against the Chicago right-hander. A .575 on base percentage, nearly a .400 batting average. Too low, and it's 2-2 to Joey Votto with 2 on and 2 out here in the last of the 3rd inning. Barnhart and Akiyama Boyd. And a ground ball to Rizzo out of the inning. 2 hits, 2 left. We go to the 4th. Still no score. Dinsmore now open daily, and thanks to the HCS Foundation. Kids 12 and younger get free admission to the Reds Hall of Fame and Museum. For more details, visit redsmuseum.org. First real scoring chance of the game for either team comes in the Cincinnati 3rd inning. 2 out singles by Barnhart and Akiyama, but Hendricks gets Votto on a ground ball to his counterpart. And here we go, scoreless in the 4th. Gray struck out the side on 11 pitches, but now Rizzo. We will not know. I don't know if we'll ever know tomorrow and any other day what was said between Sonny Gray and Anthony Rizzo at the completion of the first inning.
Well, I'll tell you what's being said without verbs or without language is look how close Rizzo is to the plate right now. He has moved up as tight as you can on that inside corner, challenging Sonny Gray to come inside. He knows Gray likes to pitch inside, but he knows anything that's not a strike is going to hit him. You rarely see hitters move around the batter's box, but Rizzo is one that will.
Number back to the mound, and Gray going to go down on both knees to smother that thing, and that's the way you do your talking. Just keep an eye on these two. Anything at all kind of running by one another. You figure no. Nope. Not even a look.
I think between those two guys, it's good, clean, hard-nosed competition.
I think you're right.
Let's keep it right on the baseball field.
I think you're right.
It's not macho versus macho where I can beat you up. This is you get in the batter's box and I'll pitch. You get me or I get you, but we're going to go after it.
And I think the one thing they have in common, and you and I were talking about this off the air, those are two guys, and I don't think you can say this about every single player in every single sport. Those two guys will do anything they have to do in a game to beat the opposition, whatever it takes.
Isn't that the kind of guy you want?
All day,
yeah,
every day. One and one to Javier Baez. Swing and a miss. Baez chased that breaking ball into the other batter's box for strike three his last time up. Breaking ball again, got him swinging and missing, not as far away this time, but great location down and away, and that's 6 of them now in the game for Sonny.
Well, I think this particular pitch was one that Baez feels that he should have hammered about 400 feet. Look at the reaction he has right there. Had a nice downward break on it, but caught a lot of the plate. Boy, oh boy, Baez takes a hack.
Yeah, that one almost appeared to back up a little bit, didn't it?
Yeah.
But he's got such good downward break. I mean, the last thing you want is a flat breaking pitch that just goes from side to side. They drop off the table. Even if you hang them over the center of the plate, you've got a pretty good chance.
Schwarber, the former #1 pick out of Indiana. Of course, his father, Greg, the police chief up in Middletown. His mom a nurse, along with a police dispatcher. And this guy looks like he ought to be, I don't know, swinging an axe or digging up stumps for a living. He's just country strong, this guy. Also played football up there at Middletown for the Middies, was a linebacker. And a strike three called. 7 strikeouts in the game for Sonny Gray through the first 4 innings. Hitless innings. Chris Welsh and Jim Day. I'm Tom Brenneman. Great to have you with us on this pitching rich Wednesday night so far, much like we expected. Schwarber and Gray, 2 of the game's very best for a number of years, for Sonny anyway, outside of the hiccup in New York 2 years ago. It was so good in Oakland, so good last year with the Reds. And Suarez leads things off against Hendricks, 2-0. It was 78 miles per hour on a 2-0 pitch that appeared to be in a real good hitting zone. But you just don't see many of these guys around anymore. Everybody's throwing 93, 95, 98.
You know, I think that to a certain extent that helps a lot.
Sure.
You know, to be unique, but at the same time, you have to respect how Hendricks is basically on the edges of the plate almost every time. This is a great statistic right here. For 48% of the pitches, I'm not sure if it was from this year or from last year. Last year, so it's throughout his entire 30 starts, almost 50% of the pitches that Kyle Hendricks threw are on the edges of the plate. And what they mean that it's a ball's width, as wide as a baseball is, on the edge.
That would be
amazing.
Pretty good command.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, he doesn't mean to throw every single one of them within a baseball of the corner, but that's amazing. Or who knows? Maybe he does.
Why not?
Why not? I'm not going to put it by him.
You can do it. You do it.
That is the first walk Hendricks has issued this season. He struck out 9, walked none in that complete game 3-hit shutout against Milwaukee last Friday at Wrigley Field. So into 12+ innings without a walk until Suarez here in the 4th. Moustakas, a fly ball to Hayward, who made a sliding catch his first time up.
You know, I guess if you're facing a pitcher that has a reputation like Hendricks, where he's right on the edge all the time, unless you're looking for that edge, lay off that pitch. And that's what seems like Moustakas has been able to do. He did on that last pitch. And even that pitch, I mean, it's not on the edge, but it's at the bottom of the zone.
At 79. One ball and 2 strikes on Moustakas, his first game back since Saturday. Good patience. That pitch down in the dirt, and it's 3 balls and 2 strikes now on Moustakas. Three balls and 2 strikes on Moustakas. Suarez, very short lead, held on by Rizzo. And a high fly ball into right field. Welcome back, Mike Moustakas. And look at the grounds crew down there. They came prepared for the Moose's return. Oh, Tucker having that guy back in the lineup. Little different look. And the Reds have their first lead since the last time Moustakas played in a game.
I mean, he just looked more comfortable than just about any other Reds player against Hendricks his first time up. Hit a line drive out, and he's able to slow that internal clock down to match Hendricks' pitches. That's what this ball club needed.
Oh, did they ever. Again, if you weren't with us earlier, the first time they've led since the 7th inning of Game 2. And that was the last time Moustakas was in uniform. He knew it, so did Hendricks, so did Hayward. Hayward, in fact, did not even turn around. Second home run for Moustakas, and a diving stab made by Bryant. Big time play there. That's a double by Castellanos.
That was a rifle shot by Castellanos.
So this is really the first inning. The Reds have had some pretty good at-bats against Hendricks. Yes, they had 2 hits. Barnhart, a little flare into left. Akiyama hit a rocket into right. The 3 outs in the inning were routine ground balls, including the final out of the inning. But Suarez leads off this inning with a walk. Moustakas a home run, and Castellanos a laser that's nabbed by Bryant. And now Winker. He started to pull the trigger and laid off a strike.
You know what I think happens when you face a changeup pitcher like Hendricks is that you're ahead of the ball so often that sometimes in order to make contact you slow your swing down. So when you do hit the ball, your exit speed is so slow it doesn't go anywhere. So really the key is somehow keep your body back and then continue to swing like you normally would, as if the guy was throwing 95 instead of 75. A lot easier to say and easier to do from up here to 3rd level.
Jesse drives Schwarber to the warning track. That ball was hit with some authority as well. 2 down in the inning.
Didn't look like it. I mean, it looked like he hit it with one hand, but the ball just jumped off his bat. You know, Winker, when he really got hot last year, all those home runs he was hitting the left field, he's got plenty of power that way. Got to get him in one of those grooves again.
Here's Senzel. He had a pitch buried in on his hands his first time up, and rolled one off the handle to the shortstop Baez. Breaking ball in there, a strike to Nick Senzel. Senzel made the comment before opening day he wants to be the best center fielder in the National League. Chopped fair. Bryant behind the bag and just does get Nick to end the inning. But the Moose is back in the lineup and doing damage against Hendricks here in the 4th with home run number 2. Welcome back to the Moose. To get all your baseball action, download the MLB app today, the official app of Major League Baseball. Mike Moustakas, a 2-run home run to right field off Kyle Hendricks in the 4th inning, giving Sonny Gray a 2-0 lead. Gray is not allowed a hit. He has struck out 7. He's not walked a batter. The only base runner, the 2nd of the game, hit by a pitch, was Anthony Rizzo. Contreras, man, is up there hacking. I mean, this guy is up there, and much like Javier Baez, when he swings, you wonder how he doesn't fall down on every pitch. In fact, he did fall down swinging and missing the first pitch of his first at bat tonight. 0-1. That ball drilled into right center field, and Senzel had him shaded that way. That exit velocity was 104 miles per hour.
He's a strong man.
Yes.
I mean, Contreras can hit him as far as anyone. I think he's already hit one this year over 450 feet. What a competitor.
Senzel has that card in his back pocket after he made that catch and threw the ball back to the infield. He reached in there to take a pick, much like, you know, quarterbacks do, high school level, college level, some guys even in the pros, but to make sure he knows exactly where he's supposed to be for each and every batter, in this case Jason Hayward.
Saves a lot of towel waving.
Yeah, you're right. Trying to get a guy's attention. It's funny though, the Tigers, that's the way they were doing it.
Yeah.
The old school way here over the weekend. 1-1 to Hayward. And now 1-2.
You know, every time Sonny Gray pitches, he's got a lot of fans down there in Tennessee that are watching. His family, obviously, the biggest fans, but there's a guy down there who has been following Sonny Gray in his career ever since he was a high school player and just knew he was bound for greatness. And I'm talking about none other than the Stork. Stork Montgomery. He's been up here in our booth before,
yes, he
Tom,
has.
and I'll tell you, he is dialed in tonight, I can guarantee it. Welcome to the broadcast, Stork. He's got the whole county fired up. That's
I believe that.
He is.
I mean, you can tell when he walks in a room, that guy's excited. Fun guy. 2-2 to Hayward. He popped up to Suarez. Back in the second inning. Oh boy. Line drive. Castellanos is there. Same exit velocity as the man in front of him, Contreras, both at 104 miles per hour, and both of them very loud outs. Man, was that kissed.
That's a nice play by Castellanos. Both of them, actually, but the one that goes into right field, hooking and sinking even a little bit more. Plenty of exit speed, just not the right launch angle.
Ball and 1 strike now on Ian Happ.
It's interesting to see that Rizzo was the only Cubs hitter to really get on top of the plate. I wonder if he's had conversations with, you know, any of the other hitters in that lineup saying, hey, I'm going to give it a try. Why don't you? And I'm a little curious.
This will be the first hit of the game for Chicago. To the left center field gap off the bat of Ian Happ. 3 good swings in this inning against Sonny Gray.
I was really kind of curious if any of the Reds hitters considered doing the same thing against Hendricks.
You brought that up very early in the game.
Yeah, Happ going the other way with this. That's a good pitch.
Victor Caratini looked at strike three when Gray fanned the side on 11 pitches back in the third inning. Gray does not have a strikeout here in the fifth. The first really good at bats of the game for these Cubs, but this should take care of them in the inning. And a ground ball back up through the middle. One hit, the first of the night for Chicago. Gray applauds his defense, headed back to the dugout. Sonny on his game again tonight. A 2-0 lead. 2 runs, 4 hits for the Reds. The 2 runs coming on a walk to Suarez, a 2-run home run by Moustakas. Gray has surrendered only 1 hit. Hit a batter, struck out 7 through the front 5. It'll be Galvis, Barnhart, and Akiyama. And that one down the right field line into the corner. Hayward going to go to cut it off, and he will hold Galvis to a single. Hayward among the game's elite defensive outfielders.
Well, the Reds are taking advantage now of a couple of mistake pitches that Kyle Hendricks has thrown and gotten up and out over the plate. You know, he had such a great performance on his opening day start, a shutout. The only thing tougher than pitching a shutout or a complete game in the major leagues is doing it 2 times in a row. So we always think that there may be a little bit of a drop off the next time out. He's already given up a couple of runs. And the Reds just look like they're in a little bit better rhythm with him all of a sudden. A walk, a home run, a line out by Castellanos. Winker took the ball all the way to the wall opposite field.
That's what we talked about. The final start against the Reds that he made last year, they roughed him up in this ballpark, I should say, at 2 2/3 innings, 7 earned runs. He had, by and large, has been terrific against the Reds and practically everybody else most of the time. Ball, 1 strike on Tucker Barnhart. Galvis at first base. And it's taken down low. Tucker is first at bat of the season. Looped one into left field for a base hit. Fooled him there. 79 way down in the strike zone, and Tucker going to take a minute to regroup. Walks over outside of the dirt area around the plate into the grass, and then a beeline straight back into the left-handed batter's box. Galvis took off at least for 2 or 3 steps. Don't know if that was a bluff. Don't know if he intended to run and lost his footing. And that's strike 3 call.
Now change up, and then zips the fastball right by him. You know, it looks so easy
from the center field camera, doesn't it? I know you're sitting at home, you're on your couch, you're watching him like, how can he take that pitch?
Yeah.
But it's such tremendous deception that he has.
Now Akiyama. Shogo struck out swinging against Hendricks in the first inning and then hit a rocket into right field for a single his last time up. That was on a pitch in. You know, it's such a cool swing. It's such a unique swing. You see it with a number of the Japanese hitters we've seen come over for years and years and years. They pick that leg up in the air and then almost plant it not only towards the pitcher but towards the inside corner with a slightly open stance. And then they're able to get their hands through and hook that thing into right field. I mean, you'll see him in the batter's box. The right foot is opened up. And then he picks that leg high up into the air. And that thing will actually turn it into a closed batting stance by the time he would make contact with the ball. And he hits this ball into the air to straightaway center field and hits it pretty well. Oh, and bad luck for the Redlegs. It turns into a ground rule double. If that ball bounces against the wall, Galvis was already at third base. That ball tagged by Akiyama.
Hendricks with another mistake, pretty much right down the middle, above the belt. And just another good swing that Akiyama has put on him. He's picked up a single, a sharp one, and a double to dead center field.
And that's where you saw, Chris, what I was talking about. When that front foot hit, that front foot is a good 6 inches closer to the plate than his left foot is. I'm just amazed when I see those swings, and Ichiro had the same kind of thing. I don't know how they get through the ball. Watch, he picks it up and it steps almost right on the plate, and it becomes a closed batting stance, and they get their hips through there. It's really quite unique.
But as long as you keep your hands back, you can use your front leg to pull off of. You know, it's like a pitcher landing on his front leg and pulling off that where he gets his velocity.
And he hit that ball a ton, and now
A chance for Joey Votto to extend the lead.
Votto had a chance to get the Reds on the board in the third inning. He's 0 for 2 tonight. Has popped up to right field and hit a ground ball to Rizzo, stranding 2 in the third inning. It's a big at bat for the Redlegs. A chance to extend this 2-0 lead against Hendricks. And Votto takes off the inside corner, 2-0. It did hit him. I wondered for a second.
It's an intentional walk.
Oh, I got you. Okay. I beg your pardon.
It looked like it did, though. It was close enough, and it looked like Votto kind of gave him a little shoulder in that time. Give him something to talk about down there with Rizzo.
I'm just curious, Chris. Why would you even start that at bat?
In case Votto made a first pitch out somewhere.
Okay.
Nice little pop-up.
Well, now they're loaded for a Eugenio Suarez. We're only in the bottom of the 5th inning, so a long way to go in this one. You don't take anything for granted. But oh my, if you could find the way to turn this, at the minimum double your lead on a ball in the gap or just a single. What a difference a 4-run lead would make against this Cub offense. First time all year the Cubs have failed to score first in a game. We mentioned they've done it all 5 games, winning 4 of the 5. So they're not used to playing catch up. 0-1. And this is going to loop into center field, a base hit. Able to score Galvis, Akiyama right behind him, and it is a 2-run single for Eugenio Suarez. So he got his first hit last night, his first 2 knocked in tonight. And how we looking? 4-0 Reds.
Got a little different energy in that Reds dugout now, I guarantee. A little bit in on the trademark, but a good swing timing-wise. And because they play Suarez so deep, especially in center field, that ball will come in. I'll tell you what, Akiyama can run a little bit.
Yes, he can. Because he waited quite a while wondering if that ball was going to fall in, and then, man, did he kick in to gear. Rex Brothers will come on for Chicago. The Reds a 2-run bomb from Moustakas in the 4th, a free agent. Akiyama, a big double in the inning. Our Skyline Chili call to the bullpen. For David Ross's team to face Mike Moustakas. Mike hit a 2-run home run to break a scoreless game in the 4th. The Reds have tacked on 2 more here in the 5th to chase Kyle Hendricks, who had a complete game shutout his first time out.
And we've got an all-Nashville pitching matchup right now. Brothers is from Nashville, former #1 pick by the Colorado Rockies, and of course Sonny Gray, born in Nashville, former #1 by the A's.
All right, Moustakas waiting. First pitch in there, a strike. That's quite a play right there by Contreras, preventing both runners moving into scoring position. Breaking ball off the inside edge, 2-1 to Moustakas. Three balls and a strike. Reds 4, Chicago nothing here in the last of the 5th inning. Hendricks knocked out of the game. Right on the edge at 96 miles per hour, or was it off the edge? Perhaps.
Not a bit of complaint though from Moustakas.
Good pitch, really good. Does he go there again? 3-2.
If he could.
He was set up to go there, and he missed by 3.5 feet. So the lefty comes in to face Moustakas and issues a walk. And now I suspect we'll see yet another pitching change by, or you can't. You got a three-batter in. I forgot all about it for a second there. It's brand new to the league. And we've not seen a situation yet where you had to worry about it.
Well, that's true. That was 3 batters are getting out of the inning.
Yes. I think that's the key, right, Chris?
One out of the inning, one out in the inning, he conceivably, get his 3 outs. He could face 1 batter, get a double play, and you're out of the inning.
Right.
Brothers has been around. He's 32. He was once the up-and-coming closer for the Colorado Rockies. In fact, this is his 2nd stint in a Cubs uniform. He was in spring training with the Cubbies back in 2016 before being released. Always hard throwing lefty. And I think this matchup pretty good. It looks good for the Reds. I mean, the more the Brothers misses with that breaking ball, the more he's got to come with something straight for Castellanos.
Nick in the game had an infield hit on a ball where he hit against the shift. By the time Horner got up there, no chance for a throw, and then just hit a rocket up the third base line that was caught by Bryant. Bottom fell out of that pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Inning began with a single by Galvis, and later a huge double to straightaway center by Akiyama. Votto intentionally walked to load him up for Suarez, who comes through with a 2-run single. A walk to Moustakas. They're loaded for Castellanos. And a 1-1. High fly ball into deep left center field. Castellanos, a grand slam against his former team. And the Reds have kicked in the door. A 6-run 5th inning. Castellanos, his 2nd home run, and give him a team best 8 runs batted in. Oh my.
He came to play some ball. I mean, this pitch up and out of the strike zone, it doesn't matter to Castellanos. I mean, he is looking to drop the bat head, and boy, he goes up to get a high 96-mile-an-hour fastball. Whew. A little bit better. So finally, the guy down there with his button or his fingers on the knob of that crowd noise to get to test the volume a little bit.
I mean, this is only the 3rd game where the Reds have had their quote-unquote A team on the field. Opening day, won the game. Were it not for a bullpen meltdown, they didn't hit a ton in the 2nd game of the year, but he should have won the game. And then all of a sudden, Moustakas and Senzel wake up Sunday not feeling well, not seen them since. They both return to the lineup tonight, which enriches this lineup so beautifully 1 through 9. Moustakas right in the middle of it all. And now Castellanos. Winker went around, and that's strike 3. He'll slam the bat to the turf. 2nd out of the inning. Senzel, the 9th man to bat in this 6-run 5th inning. like a pair of ground outs. One to short, the other at Bryant. Senzel still looking for hit number 1 this year. 0 for his first 9, playing in just his 3rd game. Six of the 8 runs are hung on starter Kyle Hendricks. So his last 2 games in this ballpark, he's pitched roughly 7 innings. And he has given up 13 earned runs. That's some major league damage against one of the league's very best.
Yeah.
High fly ball by Senzel will back up Schwarber to the wall, and it's out of here for Senzel. That ball continued to carry. You could tell Schwarber thought he had a play on that ball. And then all of a sudden, out she goes. Senzel, his first hit. Home run, run batted in, run scored. 9-0 Cincinnati.
Well, you can see the reaction by the catcher, Wilson Contreras. I mean, that tells you all you need to know right there.
Galvis started this inning with a single into right field and scored on the 2-run single by Suarez. We have a grand slam in the inning by Castellanos and a solo home run from Senzel. Reds scored only 6 runs in an inning 4 times all of last year, and just, you know, by comparison, the Cubs had 11 such innings. Well, this has turned into a 7 spot now here in the Cincinnati 5th. Two and one on Freddie Galvis, and Brothers to the plate. 2-2. Been a rough go for Brothers, to say the least. He walked Moustakas lefty on lefty to load him up for Castellanos, who hit the grand slam. He retired Winker, then the home run to Senzel.
Now, this is not the first time that we've seen this Cubs bullpen struggle. In fact, they've been very inconsistent, porous.
Really, I'm sure that, you know, thinking deeply about it is David Ross and the Cubs front office, wondering in tight ball games who they can trust out there.
No doubt about that. And that's the inning. But what an inning, what an inning, what an inning. A 7-run explosion. After Suarez picked up his first 2 runs batted in, the former Cub, now Cub killer, Castellanos with a salami. Now through August 3rd, customers can score free MLB TV at T-Mobile.com/MLB. Long time to sit over in that first base side dugout, but make no mistake, Sonny Gray enjoyed each and every moment of it. 7 runs for the Reds to make it a 9-0 lead. We go to the 6th.
That was until Luis Castillo finally said, hey, okay, how about saving a few for me tomorrow? That'll be a nice matchup tomorrow too.
Oh,
Castillo versus Yu Darvish.
Two balls and no strikes to Nico Horner. Sonny Gray, through the front 5 innings tonight, has proven to be his most efficient 5 innings as a Cincinnati Red. He threw 58 pitches tonight to get through the front 5. His previous fewest pitches through 5 innings as a Red was 65. He does not have a single 3-ball count so far in this game. That's also something he could not say after 5 innings of a game last year. And if you're wondering, he was in the dugout for 27 minutes it took to play that bottom of the 5th. And that's strike 3, a fastball at 94 miles per hour. The only inning Gray has not struck out a batter was the last inning. That's 8 of them in the game.
What a beautiful pitch. And this is not an easy pitch to throw. When you can start that pitch off the plate and have it come on back, you've got to have great finger pressure, release on the baseball, the rotation just right. You've got to clear your hips and get your arm extended. I'll tell you, Sonny Gray gets about everything there possibly is from his body when he throws a baseball.
One ball and 2 strikes on Bryant. The Chicago team won 84 games a season ago. Wound up finishing 3rd in the National League Central Division. They missed the playoffs for the first time in 5 years. Of course, they won it all in 2016, twice in that 5-year run. Advanced on to the National League Championship Series. And there's another called 3rd strike on a 95-mile-per-hour fastball from Sonny Gray.
I mean, what great movement he has on these pitches.
For Chicago, number 13, David Hogan enters the ball game today.
Well, they're going to go ahead and get Anthony Rizzo out of the game. I mean, Rizzo and Votto and Bryant, all those guys are really cut from the same cloth. They're going to play virtually every inning of every game. And it's 9-0. You're in the 6th inning. Rizzo will take a seat. David Bodie will come up and bat for him. I think 1-1 delivery. Breaking ball. Wow. Man, oh man, oh man.
That'll lock you up.
I mean, it locked me up from up here. That is so good. Gosh. Now going for his 10th strikeout of the game and looking for 3 strikeouts in the inning. And there it is. He went around. Yes, sir. And that's 10 punch outs for Sonny Gray. 1 more than he had in 6 innings his last start. But he's only thrown 72 pitches on the night. This guy's dealing. Just dealing.
Gear and be placed in an actual seat here at Great American Ballpark, like the seats you are looking at right now. Proceeds benefit the youth baseball and softball programs of the Reds Community Fund. Details available at reds.com/cutouts. The Reds weren't sure what type of response they were going to receive from this, but they have already have sales approaching 1,800 already. They will begin to place these when the Reds go to Detroit Friday, and we'll be working all weekend, so we should see them Monday. The now infamous across the sports world cardboard cutouts, Reds fan style.
We'll look forward to that. And I tell you what, I mean, I know the Reds have a lot of games between now and Monday, but that series, they announced the starting pitching matchups already for those 4 games against the Cleveland Indians. That is just about as good as it gets, because the Indians have a spectacular starting rotation. The Reds will start that series with Sonny Gray, obviously, then Castillo, Bauer against his former team, Wade Miley. Hopefully he'll get his act together. We expect he would in his 2nd start and be ready for that 3rd one. Reds are going to see Plesac, Bieber, Clevenger, Carlos Carrasco. By the way, the Reds have extended their team record for most 10 strikeout games by the pitching staff to begin a season. They've done that in each of the first 6 games. Tucker turns on one down the line, foul. A lot of changes for Chicago in this 9-0 Reds lead. Schwarber still in left. Almora comes into the game. So too does Steven Souza Jr. Bodie pinch hit for Rizzo a minute ago. He's at second. Happ goes from center to first. Horner goes from second to short. Still Bryan at third. Contreras catching. So Baez out of the game as well, along with Hayward.
You know, you may not know much about Zach Plesac. He's the pitcher who was scheduled to face Sonny Gray in that first of 4 against the Indians. Won 8 games for the Indians last year. Tonight against the White Sox, he went 8 innings of 3-hit shutout, 11 strikeout baseball. So there will be some swinging and missing next week.
No doubt. Well, 2 of those games are here, right? And then go up to Cleveland.
Monday and Tuesday here, Wednesday and Thursday up in Cleveland.
So that'll be Trevor Bauer making the start in Cleveland, Ohio on that Wednesday night. I know we're getting ahead of ourselves, but there's nothing better. I was asked by a radio talk show in Chicago today. I'm on all the time with Sylvian Waddle. People know the name Waddle, Tom Waddle, great receiver at Moeller High School, grew up here in Cincinnati, started collegiately at Boston College, and just had, I mean, it wasn't a long NFL career, but man, when he played, he was some kind of receiver for the Bears. Not very big, as tough as they come. And we were talking about, the pitching matchup tonight and again tomorrow night with these 2 teams. And I know a lot of people like offense and big offensive numbers and so on and so forth, and different strokes, different folks. But man, when you start looking at pitching matchups that are that good, at least on paper, those are fun games to go see.
Here's the difference, I think, Tom, between years past and this year. The Reds are going to be full of great pitching matchups this year because they've got great pitchers on their staff.
That's right.
for so many years they didn't really have but maybe one. You'd hope you'd have a great matchup once a week. Didn't always get it. Now you're going to get, 2 or 3 a week. Hitters don't necessarily like it.
And look, I think we all believe, and we're very confident that Anthony DeSclafani is going to make his scheduled start, first one of the year, over the weekend in Detroit. And look, the second half of last year to start with, was his first full healthy year. But the second half of last year, he was among the best pitchers in the National League.
He was throwing the ball very well here this year before he became injured.
Three and 2 on Akiyama. Strike 3, and he knew it. Shogo a couple of hits, however, tonight.
It's a pretty good breaking ball by Rex Brothers.
Tonight is the first multi-hit game for Akiyama. Of course, he's not been playing a ton. He's been sitting down a lot exclusively against left-handers. Not started a game against a lefty. And in a couple of other games, he started the game and did not finish the game. He was taken out for a pinch hitter when a lefty came in from the bullpen. So 4 at-bats tonight, 2 hits and a run scored. Votto 0 for 2, a walk and a run scored. Intentionally walked his last time up. Three and 0 on Joey Votto with the bases empty and 2 away here in the bottom of the 6th inning. And a 4-pitch walk to Votto. Second time he's been on. That on-base percentage just continues to climb, even if he's not getting base hits. He's getting on base. Ohio brought to you by Ford. Go further by Gilkey Window, family owned since 1978, and by Taco Bell. T-Bell. Baseball is back, presented by Taco Bell. Well, the Reds have been lots around in third and heading for home tonight. A 9-0 lead. Batting in the bottom of the 6th inning. Third pitcher used tonight by David Ross, following Hendricks, who gave up 6, Brothers, who gave up 3, at least so far. And now it's James Norwood. Breaking ball, strike 1 to Suarez. A 2-run single, his first 2 RBIs of the year. His last time up. Suarez, even going back to his first at bat tonight. What, a 10-pitch at bat before he struck out? After he got his first hit last night. Drew a walk second time up tonight. Maybe a start to something. We'll see.
Well, he's just glad to look up at the scoreboard and not see all zeros.
No longer a secret agent.
I mean, the size of the scoreboard here, those numbers are about 6 feet tall.
You're right about that. And the force out will end the inning. We go to the 7th, all red legs here in game 3.
Josh Hall's favorite strikeouts here in this sequence. Some looking, some swinging, some on the fastball, some on the breaking pitch. He has been dominant all night long.
And he has only thrown 72 pitches in the game.
I just love the way he comes off the mound. I mean, I can totally see him as a big-time college or maybe even a pro quarterback. I mean, he just kind of has that presence, doesn't he?
No doubt about it. He is completely locked in. Doesn't mean he's going to be great every start, but he comes to beat you.
He doesn't have to be great every start. He just has to be better than the other guy.
That's right. Don't you think sometimes, you say that? And I try to remind my son of that all the time in athletics, lacrosse goalie, whatever it might be. Hey, look, you might give up 7. But is it 1 less than the other team got? That's all that matters.
Yep.
1-1 delivery. You might have a bad day on the golf course. Whatever that for you, that would be a bad day like 74. So, but did the other guy shoot 75?
Hey.
Right?
Pay up.
Exactly right.
I like saying that to Eddie Shepard a lot.
I know, but you like saying it better to O'Neill.
That doesn't happen as often, though.
Eddie Shepard might have more money than Paul O'Neill. 2 balls and 2 strikes to count. Foul ball out of play by Steven Souza Jr. He was a young man we talked about the other night where he messed up a knee just about as bad as you can possibly mess up a knee. Every ligament in there completely shredded. And our very own Dr. Timothy Kremchek put that entire knee back together, and here he is again in the major leagues. Saw Dr. Kremchek yesterday and told him I had read that story, and he talked about just what an incredible young man this guy is. It's a great story that he was just able to get back, and he wasn't patting himself on the back saying it. A lot of hard work after that surgery to get back.
Well, the guy was an amazing athlete before he was injured, but it wasn't only the knee injury that has kept him from being, much better major league player. He's had a ton of other injuries. Shoulder injury, back spasms. He's only had 1 year in which he's played more than 120 games. That was 2017.
He's had one of the better plate appearances against Sonny Gray of the night. They hit back-to-back lasers, did the Cubs, in the 5th inning, actually 3 in a row. A line out by Contreras, a line out by Hayward, and Sonny's walked his first batter of the night. And then Happ had their only hit, the 3rd batter up in that inning, with a gap shot into left center field. Gray struck out 9, walked 2 his first start. He has struck out 10 and now walked 1 here tonight. In 12 innings, he's given up 4 hits total and 1 run. Now Schwarber. He struck out looking twice. See if the Reds start to get some activity in their bullpen. I mean, Gray's only sitting at 81 pitches, but you do have a 9-0 lead. Now, I know what some of you are saying immediately. Are you kidding me? The way this bullpen's been going, look, guys got to get a chance to get it together. And I'm not suggesting you should stay in or stay out. That's not my job.
Well, if you're Sonny Gray, you're thinking to yourself, I'm 1 pitch away from a ground ball double play right here. I've had Schwarber twice, struck him out twice, looking twice, on fastballs twice. Drop a little breaking ball down around the inside corner. He wants a curveball here, and maybe he rolls over and gives a nice double play ball.
Boy, did that fool Schwarber. I mean, Gray has just twisted him in knots the first 2 times up tonight. You don't see that a lot with Schwarber.
Well, you know, you have to pitch a guy like Schwarber or Rizzo. You have to pitch him inside. And there's so many pitchers that are afraid to do that because they're not good at pitching on that inside corner, that they're afraid of hitting the batter, putting a runner on base. Sonny's fearless.
Votto going to look to second. He'll just take the out in front of him with Gray covering the bag, and Souza Jr. advances on to second base. Only the second runner all night for the Cubs to get into scoring position, and we're in the 7th inning.
Not batting for Chicago, number 4, Josh Hagan.
Josh Phegley will come up and bat. First time we've seen him in the first 3 games of this series. Phegley is a backup catcher. I would imagine hitting for Contreras, he'll just stay in the game. Made his Cub debut on Sunday. A minor league invitee to spring training this year, and boy, did he tear it up. In the 12 games he had a chance to play, did he open some eyes. Had 10 hits and 24 at bats, 3 doubles, 2 homers, 5 runs batted in. Spent all of last year and had a very good year in a little more than a part-time role for the Oakland Athletics. This guy had 12 home runs and 62 knocked in. He's also played for the White Sox, spent the last 5 years in Oakland.
These guys were teammates. In fact, I would imagine that Phegley probably caught Sonny Gray back when they were both Oakland A's, 2015 and 16.
Two and two on Phegley. He's a native of Terre Haute, Indiana, not too far up the road. Suarez throw in the dirt. Just both runners will advance on. I don't know if Suarez was surprised that Phegley was getting up the line pretty well, but this seemed to take forever.
I just don't think he put much into the throw. Kind of babied it across the infield. The ball died, went into the dirt. Votto couldn't scoop.
So now all of a sudden the Cubs, thinking of the A's, you're talking about Phegley and Sonny Gray there. Now all of a sudden the shutout is very much in jeopardy after the throwing error by Suarez. 1 out. Here's Albert Almora Jr. Breaking ball in there, a strike. Check swing on a breaking ball, and on the appeal he went around. That's been a pretty safe bet on those appeals to John Bacon up there at first base. That's a minor league call up, the umpire over at first base. He's been all over it tonight. He's done a good job. Not just pro Reds, but for both teams. Strike 3 called. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night to Almora. So a strikeout with a runner at third base and 1 out for out number 2. Punch out number 11.
A little extra something on that pitch right there for Sonny Gray.
And the night is over for Sonny Gray. He just threw his 92nd pitch of the game. Or is it? Wait a minute now. He hadn't officially given the call to the bullpen, has he? Oh, that's all. Now he gives the call as Gray walks off. Brooks Raley, the left-hander, will come on. I mean to tell you, you want to talk about a guy first 2 outings of the year. Nobody better than this guy.
Well, he stepped up when the Reds really needed him tonight because he was going against a guy, they're top of the staff over there with the Cubs. And the Reds needed a win in the worst way. And he set the pace right from the get-go.
He gives up 1 hit, punches out 11. Again here tonight. Opening day went 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, 9 strikeouts, 2 walks. Tonight, those are the numbers. Even better than opening day. Raley comes on to try and pick up the final out. Ian Happ is a switch hitter. First time he'll bat right-handed tonight. Went 1 of 2. He has the only Chicago hit of the game. That was a double with 2 outs in the 5th inning to left center field. Ball 1. What do you think of Raley?
I like Raley. I like his breaking pitch a lot. I think a left-hander with a good curveball can be a very important part of the bullpen. Of course, the lefty on lefty matchup, you know, the loogie, the one, you know, left only one guy, is no longer with the 3 batter minimum, so you have to be able to get right-handers out also.
Well, he won't face a left-handed batter in this inning. You hope the only batter he faces is Happ and he picks up the final out of the inning, but we got switch hitters and right-handed hitters coming up, and he has fallen behind Happ at 3 balls, no strikes. And he promptly issues a 4-pitch walk. Jim Day.
Tom Brooks Raley was in an interesting and unusual situation on opening day. It's not often that a pitcher catches the last out in foul territory, but that's what happened on opening day. And on opening day, they had separate baseballs that had a stamp opening day on it. And he was asked, did you hold on to that baseball? He's like, you kidding me? Not often do you get an opening day ball. And it's not often that I'm in that situation. You better believe I kept that ball, and I'll keep that ball forever.
Well, after a 4-pitch walk, he hits the first. On the first pitch, Caratini to bring in the first run of the game for the Cubs. It's an unearned run against Sonny Gray. This inning should have been over a long time ago, and it was a throwing error by Suarez that brings in the run. You know what managers and coaches look at, frequently, and look, you're winning 9-1. But they look for just those clean final touches, and not the stuff that all of a sudden makes a great feeling and all the great vibe going on around the team. You don't want any of that taken away. I mean, the Reds' chances of winning this game are great, no doubt about it. But all of a sudden you get a walk, you get an error, puts a guy in scoring position. You walk a guy on 4 straight pitches. There's already low morale in that bullpen to begin with, and a lot of low morale about the bullpen. Then you hit a guy to bring in the only run. You know, those are the little things that David Bell and his staff will say, hey, look, everything was great tonight. But those little things, let's just clean them up. And there's a base hit going to bring in 2 more runs to make it a 9-3 game. And don't throw in the towel on this one quite yet. We saw the Reds nearly come all the way back from 8-1 the other night.
Nico Horner that time gets an 0-2 pitch right back through the middle.
Wasn't all that bad of a pitch. He just kind of protecting the plate right there and drives a couple in.
Here's Chris Bryant.
Bryant can make this real interesting in a bad way.
No doubt about it. And he's going to bring them a lot closer. This is going to bring in 2 more runs, and all of a sudden Sonny Gray on absolute cruise control. You make an error behind him and a meltdown out of the bullpen. And now all of a sudden this is a 4-run game in the 7th inning. It was 9-0 with a runner at first base and 1 out a minute ago.
And there was nobody warming up in the Reds bullpen. And very quickly now Lucas Sims has taken the ball and trying to get loose, but it'll be a batter or 2 before he gets ready to go. Never as easy as you think.
Wonder if David Bell is kicking himself down there. I mean, that's what managers do. You know, you got to make decisions. You got to live with them. But Sonny Gray had struck out the last batter he faced. Runners at 2nd and 3rd with 2 outs in the inning, leading 9-0. And Raley has not retired a batter. Walk, hit batter, 2-run single, 2-run double. And now 1-2 on David Bodie. Two to Bodie. Well, you'd like to think that Sims is ready by now. It's a 9-5 game. 5 runs here in the Cubs' 7th, all unearned runs. And there's a 4-pitch walk, and that's got to be it for Raley.
Only if Lucas Sims is ready. And David Bell's coming up the steps.
Raley faces 5 batters, does not retire 1 of them. Walks 2, hits a batter, and gives up a couple of hits. And so far, he's responsible for 1, 2, 3 runs all earned. This is a huge batter coming up in this game when we come back. For every Reds series, support the community fund, and you can be a winner. Raffle tickets available at reds5050.com. You must be 18 and older and in the state of OHIO to purchase. It was 9-0 after a ground out following a leadoff walk with Sonny Gray on the mound here in the 7th inning. Eugenio Suarez, a throwing error, but then Sonny Gray struck out the next batter with runners at second and third, was taken out of the game. Raley comes in, gives up 2 hits, 2 walks, 3 runs, and the Cubs are right back in this thing 9-5 with Souza against Lucas Sims. Remember, the Cubs started taking all their horses out of this game. This is supposed to be Anthony Rizzo batting a moment ago. And this would be Javier Baez's spot. One more out to go to end this 7th inning. And this should do it. So on a 2-0 pitch, Souza chases, and nice job by Sims. A 5-run 7th, a 4-run Reds lead.
And now a brand new game, and Moustakas back in the 4th inning. Welcome back, Moose. They're sitting out with COVID protocols. Players and teammates that we have talked to via Zoom just rave about Moustakas being the unquestioned leader on this team, and how this team feeds off of Moustakas for advice, for energy, for basically everything. And that phrase, unquestioned leader, has been spewed by more than one individual. A little bit surprising, not with Moustakas' track record over his career, but the surprising part is he has not been a Cincinnati Red that long, and he already has that reputation.
Well, Jim, you bring up a good point. I mean, I've heard a lot of guys say the same thing to me when we were out in Arizona already, when everything broke down and they came back here. And, you know, not only that he hasn't been here long, but the fact that, you know, there are other guys that have been here very long.
Yeah, and he's, I mean, they say he's vital. I mean, they lost 4 straight without him, and it's obviously a lot more to it than Mike Moustakas being out. But they say they feed off of this guy.
Dylan Maples now taking over for Norwood. And
I think Moustakas has had a costume change, hasn't he? Wasn't he wearing like a full mask in the field? I mean, covering his head and everything.
I think you're right. He wears it in the field and then he takes it off when he comes to the plate. And Maples immediately issues a walk. Go back to that 7-run explosion in the 5th inning. Statcast powered by Google Cloud. The grand slam by Castellanos. Pinch runner taking over for Moustakas at first is Travis Jankowski. So we'll see what the Reds do with their infield. In the top of the 8th inning.
Be nice to get a couple of those runs back, wouldn't it?
No doubt about that. Maples needing a compass to find a strike zone. He hadn't found it yet. 6 in a row. Two and 0 on Castellanos, but you know if it's a strike, he is hacking. But nowhere near the strike zone. I mean, you don't know how many of these relievers are going to be around. I think with a lot of teams, we're going to see a lot of rotation. Guys moving in and out and all the roster moves that you can make. And look, you could say the same thing about the Reds bullpen, because every time they've come into games, they've given up runs. That's just a fact. It's not beating anybody up. That's a stated fact. But this Cub bullpen, holy mac.
Yeah, they're looking for a few people that they can depend on. I would say there are some spots wide open.
And I would imagine those aren't the only two teams in baseball that feel the same way.
You know, it's interesting, Tom, because after 2 weeks, the rosters were supposed to go from 30 to 28. And then after 2 weeks beyond then, go from 28 to 26. I read today where Major League Baseball and the Players Union are talking about just leaving the rosters all year long at 30. I think the players would be for that. Maples has given up a walk. Maples is from Pinecrest High School in Southern Pines, North Carolina. It's also where Seth Maness went to school as a pitcher in the big leagues. But more importantly, it is where James Baldwin went to school. James Baldwin pitched 11 years in the major leagues. The last few years, kind of under the radar, has been the head of the pitching rehabilitation down in Goodyear, Arizona.
Yep.
And this year at the start of 2020, James was named the pitching coach for the Louisville Bats. Of course, no season this year for the Bats, so he's up at Prasco right now.
Yep.
And I'll tell you, the pitchers who have had him and all the Reds people around, they just feel like he is the man.
Well, I tell you,
in the minor leagues for pitching.
You saw him. He was as competitive a guy on the mound as you will ever see. And I think the Reds are really fortunate to have him, in a shrewd move by going to get him. He's basically been joined at the hip with Hunter Green for the last 6-7 months, right? When he was coming back from Tommy John. And now he's with him up at Prasco. Maples will now face Winker. This guy has thrown 10 pitches and 1 strike.
Here's a little note on James Baldwin. You know, when he was drafted by the White Sox, that was a 1990 draft, and then he made his debut in 1995. But in that spring training, he was the first pitcher to throw a pitch to Michael Jordan in an inter-squad game.
How about that?
And I would bet that Jordan came up empty.
yeah, I think you're right.
I got to ask James about that. I'm sure they're dialed in from up there at Prasco. I'm not sure where all those guys are staying. I'm sure they're sequestered and, you know, doing the best they can to fill their evenings. Probably happy Reds baseball's on, but I'd love to sit down and visit with James a little
I
bit.
got to tell you, though, I mean, you know, of all the places in a lot of cities across the country, especially the real big cities, and a lot of those places don't have a place like Prasco because they're just too big and the land would be too expensive and all that other kind of stuff. Both runners advance. But I would imagine that's a pretty nice setup up there in Mason, Ohio. I don't mean Prasco. We know how spectacular that is. But Mason's just a really cool community, and there are a lot of things to do up there. And you know, you got to be smart, obviously. But that is one of the nicer suburbs we have in Greater Cincinnati. A lot of outdoor space and parks, and it's really nice.
Cubs want to stay within slam range and bring the infield in.
2-2 on Winker. Still nobody out. Runners at second and third. And that one right by Chris Bryant, going to bring in a run. I don't know if that had some knuckle on it or whether it had some top spin on it, but that eluded Bryant down there at third base, and the Reds get a run back.
I mean, right through the wickets. He's looking at his glove right now, and I think it probably sunk on him a little bit, but and Winker hit it hard, but
You may have not noticed this, but Jankowski was a runner at third. He was on his way back to the bag. I mean, that's a really good running move for Jankowski. Something like that kind of goes overlooked. So in other words, he wasn't putting himself in a position to get doubled up if Bryant comes up with that. They're going to give him a hit on that?
We do not have yet an official ruling. Remember, Chris brought up the other night, the official scorers are doing that from their homes now. And Senzel jumps all over one and hooks it down the line. Castellanos will score. And hey, look, all the talk about Moustakas coming back. How about Senzel coming back? Was 0 for his first two on a couple of weak groundouts. Sends in a home run, solo home run, and now a run scoring double. We're still waiting on a scoring decision on that ball to Bryant. And look, you know, whether it's Mike Cameron or Ron Roth, you know, doing the official scoring, they're watching it off of television just like you and I are at home right now. So
they're getting replays and all, but they don't get the feel of the field. And you know, this is as good as it gets for us, Tom. When we get on the road, when the Reds are on the road this weekend in Detroit, we'll be doing our games from the Fox studio.
That's right, off a monitor.
I've talked to a few broadcasters today that have already been through that. They're still
really?
getting used to, yeah.
I went over there and saw the setup we have. You know, you saw it too, I know, the other day. I think all of our guys at Fox Sports Ohio have really done a great job over there trying to do the best they can with the situation. So certainly appreciate it. Freddie Galvis, a 3-0 count. Goodness gracious. Dylan Maples has thrown 19 pitches. 14 of the 19 are balls. And he's staying in the game. It's his third walk of the 5 batters that he has faced. So here's Tucker in his first game back this year. 1 for 3 is Tucker Barnhart. Fastball on the outside corner, a strike. It was ruled an error. Just got confirmation, an error on Chris Bryant. So no RBI for Winker there. He hit the ball very hard. It is an RBI for Senzel. Reds have 11 runs on 10 hits. Two balls and a strike. Breaking ball off the inside corner. 3 balls and a strike. They're now 3-2. We're in the bottom of the 7th inning. Well, I mean, it was a pitcher's duel supreme through the front 3. Reds in the bottom of the 4th got a leadoff walk to Suarez by starter Kyle Hendricks. 2-run home run by Moustakas, and then they blew the lid off, or so it appeared at the time, with a 7-run 5th inning, highlighted by a grand slam from Castellanos, a 2-run single by Suarez, solo home run by Senzel. And that is another walk for Dylan Maples. He has walked 4 of the 6 batters, and his night is over. Well, the Reds gave up 5 in the top of the 7th. They've been handed 3 here in the bottom of the 7th. And there's still nobody out. We'll be back in a minute. Brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs, and by your local Toyota dealer. Visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places. Beautiful night along the banks of the Ohio. Reds trying to get their first win of this series and end a 4-game losing streak. Sonny Gray spectacular tonight. Don't be fooled by that number 5, because he had nothing to do with it. Were it not for a throwing error and not, of course, able to finish the 7th inning, the Cubs would be shut out tonight. Dwayne Underwood Jr. Boy, and you saw his numbers already this year. 1-1 to count on Akiyama. Looking for a 3-hit night is Shogo. Nice play there by Bryant. He'll get the force out at third. He caught that ball in the air. Or was it in the air or was it on the ground?
I thought it was on the ground.
I did too. That's a triple play if he caught that ball in the air. It looked up here like he caught it on the ground. I think David Bell is going to ask for a replay.
He's got to.
But if this is caught in the air, this is a triple play. It looked like it hit the dirt. Let's take another look. This will be a better angle. Oh, he may have caught it.
You know, I'm not so sure, Tom, that. No, I think that hit the ground. And that's not a reviewable play unless it's a trap ball by the outfield. If it's by the infielder, it's not reviewable unless the umpires wanted to do a crew review.
I couldn't tell, Chris, whether it was his glove that hit the ground or whether it was a ball that hit the dirt. Something hit the dirt.
That ball hit the ground.
Well, if you're saying that that falls under that category, and we're surprised sometimes, if you can't review it, then it's a triple play to win the inning.
It is a triple play. It's not reviewable. It's one of those plays that is, if it's a catch, no catch in the infield, it is not reviewable. So that ball, which should have been a ground ball, turned into be a line drive triple play. And it's interesting because I had a conversation with an umpire about that. We'll come back and talk about that.
Well, they got to reconsider that being a reviewable play. This was a non-reviewable play, and you put together an incredible website, baseballrulesacademy.com. It's all one word, baseballrulesacademy.com. And you actually spoke with umpire Jim Joyce about this very play on one of your segments this year.
Yeah, we did. We had a little show, actually, kind of a Jeopardy type game show.
I was on it. I got beat by my old man.
Well, you deserved it.
My dad.
And
I didn't deserve it.
And I've actually posed that question as one of the questions on the board, and it was in a show that we had with Joe Castiglione, who's the play-by-play with the Boston Red Sox, and Dave Van Horn, who's been around for a long time, the original Expos radio announcer.
Yeah.
And I asked that, and we got to the answer because I knew it wasn't reviewable because I happened to look it up one day. And Jim Joyce, who's now a retired umpire, great umpire, and he said, you know what, that's a rule that should be changed. It should be reviewable because the base umpires don't always get in a good angle to see whether it's a catch or no catch. And I could never remember ever seeing that before, but here, in the most blatant example of all, that turned into a triple play, that would not have been, obviously, had it been reviewable.
And I give Bryant a lot of credit on that play, too, to just have the moxie and the wherewithal to pull the whole thing off,
yeah.
and knew the situation, knew, as you tell Little League kids, if it's hit to me, what am I going to do with the ball? The last time the Reds, by the way, hit into a triple play was in September 2016 at Milwaukee. And that was a Joey Votto first inning line out to first that ended in a triple play. And that's strike three as Sims takes care of Schwarber. Schwarber has struck out 3 times in the game tonight, 0 for 4. Here's the real speed on that liner to third base. I mean, you're telling me, guy, a ball hit that hard so quickly, can't get a little help from replay in case you didn't see it?
No.
They got to change it.
Well, you know, that would be a good suggestion. And as good as they are now at getting replays done and adjudicated very quickly, it wouldn't delay the game at all, because you hardly ever see that play anyhow. And it would take the umpires off the hook.
Yep.
And make the game much, you know, a fairer game. That's the whole idea.
Could you imagine, and you always say this about any play, right? All the stuff you put together and all the rules that you talk about on BaseballRulesAcademy.com, you have video to go along with it. And it's really cool stuff. I really enjoyed playing that game against my dad. I mean, you rigged the whole thing at the end after I had a huge lead, but that's neither here nor there. Ground ball to third. Suarez going to cut it loose. And this time his throw's right on the money. Well done. After a throwing error a little bit earlier. But
I gave him the Hall of Fame discount.
You sure did. I mean,
it's a nice play here by Suarez.
That thing reeked like
that had a little bit of overspin on that last bounce right there and stayed down. He comes up with a strong throw that time.
That reeked like the Chicago Alderman joint meeting. Anyway, look, hey, the first thing you always say when you see any of these rules and replays is, can you imagine if ... that were to be a playoff game, that were to be a World Series game, that were to be a game where two teams are going down to the final weekend trying to get into the playoffs. It doesn't have to be 12-5. Could you imagine if it's 5-5 and a team has the bases loaded with nobody out in an inning in the 7th inning, and a play like that comes along and it's clear that the ball hit the dirt and you can't replay it?
You know, I think what I said, that it could have been a crew chief review. I don't think it could even be that. I do think, however, all of the umpires could be convened into a huddle and they could ask each other, what did you see? What did you see?
That I believe.
But, you know, you don't get the advantage of a replay. You don't get the slow motion. You may not get the play right. This is a big year for the rules. I mean, they're still changing. And by the way, Tom, that website is completely free to everybody.
See, I wasn't going to tell everybody that. I was going to say you can send your check care of Tom Brenneman, 100 Joe Nuxall Way. And you know me, I would have signed right away just to take the headache and heartache and time and effort off of your plate. You know, you'd have received all those from me, paid to the order of Chris Welch.
Well, there's a premium spot up there, but all the rules, all the videos, everything that you want is free. If you want tests and things like that, that's a different story.
There's a base hit into center field by Almora.
He struck out his last time, did not look good at all, and comes right back with a line drive up the middle.
First baseman,
Two away in the inning now for Ian Happ. Reds lead 12-5. We're in the 8th inning. Happ had the only hit of the game against Sonny Gray. A 2-out double to left center in the 5th inning. Sims coming in, throwing strikes. He has a strikeout. That was the first base runner he's allowed. Pitch in the dirt. And they appeal. He went around. And that's strike 3. Sims has a wicked breaking ball when he's got that thing working. All right, gentlemen, we're going to be looking forward to seeing you guys face to face in a couple of days from now. We'll all convene when the Reds hit the road for the first time. And we're actually going to announce the game in the same studio where Brian and Sam do the pregame and the postgame. So those guys will be in there. They'll get up from a desk right at 7 o'clock. 6:30 Reds Live is Friday night. And then Chris, you and I spray down everything, wipe down everything, and jump in there ready to go for Reds baseball. And then we do the same thing the other way after the game is over. Kyle Farmer batting for the first time tonight. Farmer took over in the field to begin the inning, and that's strike 3, batting in Votto's spot. Strangely enough, Joey was the only Red in the original starting lineup to not have a hit tonight, although he walked 2 times. So getting on base, that's Votto's MO, no doubt about that, and he scored a run. I would imagine David Bell is so excited to see Suarez come through with that first hit last night. A lengthy at bat. He did strike out his first time up tonight, but fouled away a lot of pitches against Kyle Hendricks, one of the better pitchers in baseball. Suarez walked leading off the 4th, scored on the home run behind him by Moustakas, and then had a 2-run single in that 7-run 5th. Second out of the inning. The Reds Hall of Fame and Museum presented by Dinsmore is now open daily. You can get your Reds Heads Kids Club membership in the museum. $30. You get a Reds Heads backpack, a jersey, a Suarez bobblehead, so much more. Check out all the details at Reds.com/kidsclub. 2 down, and the first at bat of the game for Travis Jankowski. Came on to run, you may remember, for Moustakas. So now on a night where Moustakas and Senzel return to the lineup for the first time since the 2nd game of the year. The Reds are 3 outs away with their regular group that's going to see most of the playing time. The guys they spent the big money on in the offseason, plus guys that came back. You know, Senzel in center, Moustakas at second, Castellanos in right, Tucker Barnhart, his first game back tonight. They go to 2-1 with all those guys there. Now, in those 3 games, they were started by Gray twice and Castillo the other time, where the bullpen let it get away. But I mean, you talk about 2 guys getting right after it first game back. Senzel 2 for 4 tonight. First 2 hits of the year. Knocks in 2 runs, a solo home run and an RBI double. Moustakas on base 3 times, a 2-run home run, walked twice, scored 3. And it makes people around you better.
Exactly, and that was the point I was about to make, Tom. It also gives your team a swagger. That when you lose 4 in a row to start the season and everybody's telling you, hey, each of those games now is worth 2.7, and you're reminded of the start that the Reds had last year, going 1-8. You know, you need your swagger back. You know, you can kind of talk around it as best you can and try to be diplomatic and say it doesn't matter, we're going to be patient, we're going to, you know, we believe in these guys. But until you actually get out and have a couple games like this,
Now your ball club begins to believe in it again.
Right.
And they should, because this is a good ball club.
That's all for the Reds in the 8th. Cubs will come to bat in the 9th. Reds lead 12-5.
Authority of the Cincinnati Reds. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
30 minutes before the start of every game on Fox Sports Ohio, we warm you up with Reds Live, presented by Ray St. Clair Roofing. Don't forget, tomorrow is a little bit earlier start time. Not 6:40. Tomorrow the first pitch 6:10. So the guys will get you going at 5:30 tomorrow afternoon. Our game coverage will begin at 6. Yu Darvish v. Luis Castillo. We've only seen Cody Reed one time, and that was last night. In one inning, he allowed 2 hits, a walk, and 2 earned runs. Those were 2 big runs, too, because the Reds were down at the time. Well, in fact, it was a tie game, I beg your pardon. They had scored 2 in the bottom of the 4th inning after the Cubs got single runs in the 3rd and the 4th. Malley came out of the game at the end of 4. Reed comes in, and before you could bat an eye, he had given up a pair. Nothing in 2 on Caratini.
Yeah, you made a great observation, Tom, in between innings about Dwayne Underwood, who came in this ball game. He faced 4 batters and was credited for pitching 2 innings.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
I've never seen that.
I don't know if I'm sure I haven't either. I mean, think about that. He got 6 outs and faced 4 guys.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing.
The other thing I got thinking about in between innings was that's a good pitch by Reed. If that play was reviewable, that triple play by Bryant reviewable, and they went back and they realized that it hit the ground instead of being caught on a line drive and it really wasn't a triple play,
right?
Then the umpires would have to get with the replay review guys and figure out where they're going to place the runners, because they would have undone a line drive triple play. And you have to say, okay, well, since it was a ground ball and not a line drive, we've got to place the runner somewhere because it's not a triple play. That would have been kind of a mess to unravel.
Well, which, you know, Chris, when you put it that way, it makes you wonder. And look, there's some smart people that are sitting around deciding on rules in this game, and people that really, really know this game. And a rules committee.
Sure.
A competition committee. I mean, you got guys like Joe Torre and Tony La Russa. You got a lot of savvy baseball guys, umpires, former umpires. You know what I mean?
Well,
I almost wonder if somebody did not bring that up.
Well, the same would apply if it was an outfield play, and those are reviewable. So
right.
You could always undo that. And that's always the nightmare for the umpire and crew, as to where to place the runners in a equitable decision. But I think nowadays they're going to get help with the review people who can look at the entire field and see where the runners were and where they would have anticipated going. I'll be on the phone tomorrow. You know that.
I know you will. Okay, this Nico Horner, this guy can hit. He's got 2 more hits again tonight. Chris Bryant has played the entire game and launches one into deep left center field, but not deep enough. Boy, that nearly brought rain. And the Cubs are down to their final out of the ninth. The return of Mike Moustakas and Nick Senzel to the starting lineup. But as a wise man once said a long time ago about baseball, momentum frequently begins with your starting pitcher. And the Reds got the momentum from their starting pitcher tonight. Sonny Gray was just sensational. He's charged with 2 runs. Both of them are unearned runs. Sonny Gray strikes out 11 batters. He walks 1. Yu Darvish was not very sharp his first start of this year. That was the only game the Cubs lost. Lasted 4 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs. He struck out 5. He did not walk about it. But over the second half of last year, he might have been the best pitcher in the National League. You can get some argument from some different guys around, but he was really good.
Yeah, there was a stretch there.
Straight away center field, racing back is Senzel, and that one is out of here.
Like a slider that just kind of stays right there about thigh high, and that's dangerous territory. And it's in a no man's land, that little grassy berm in center field.
Cody Reed, unfortunately, is another in a number of Reds relievers out in that bullpen that when they've walked to the mound, they have given up runs. Reed gave up 2 last night in 1 inning and a 2-run big fly here in the 9th inning tonight. 12-7 ball game. Reds still an out away from tying a ribbon around this one. Oh, the count on Souza Jr., who now wants timeout. Well, that's something you rarely ever see.
Weird, yeah.
Reed threw the ball all the way against the backstop.
Well, Lance Barksdale, the umpire, called timeout. He's going to come out from behind it. The batter wanted it, and Reed just decided to fire it on up there. You know, I don't know about you, Tom, but I remember doing an interview with Tommy Glavine one night. And I asked him, did you ever get any advice from, you know, when you're really young, what's the first bit of advice you remember as a pitcher? He said, my dad used to yell at me, bend your back, bend your back. And I said, well, did your dad know anything about pitching? He said, no, he knew nothing about pitching, but he saw Warren Spahn pitch and he bent his back. And that would be good advice for Cody Reed, because when he follows through, he's following through basically standing straight up. And it's so easy just to get that ball up and out of the strike zone when you don't get out there and get extension. There's a lot better, more and biomechanical ways to teach that. But
well, Reed is out of options. And I mean, you talk about getting a gold-plated chance to finally make something out of a major league career. He is being given that chance.
Well, he's got a great arm and a great body and a really nice slider. And, you know, sometimes with left-handers, you just have to be a little bit more patient. That's all there is to it. I mean, I can tell you that with the potential that Cody Reed has, if he were ever in a position to be picked up by another team, they'd be lining up. Because everybody wants somebody who's got his type of potential.
And now all of a sudden David Bell is forced to get his closer up. You got a 5-run lead right now. Even if he came into the game, it would not be a save situation. Now, if the Cubs were to score another run, or one more batter reaches base, it would become a save situation because you'd have the tying run standing in the on-deck circle. Unfortunately, it's just never easy. It's never easy for this bullpen right now, and it's seemingly just not been easy in any form or fashion at the big league level for Cody. Everybody rooting for him. He talked about what a nice guy he is, but I never bought into that theory for 5 seconds. I think it's one of the most ridiculous lines I've ever heard in my life about nice guys finish last, because that's just absurd. But you hope that he can find a way to get it together. Short right field, and that's the old ball game. It's 12-7 our final score. Reed gives up 2 in the top of the 9th inning, but is able to close it out. Sonny Gray, the winner, goes to 2-0 on the year. The Reds kicked around Kyle Hendricks, who threw a complete game 3 hit shutout without a walk his first start of the year on opening day against Milwaukee. The Reds get 7 hits and 6 earned runs against him tonight. So the 4-game losing streak is over. Exhale. Yes, you can exhale now. And you know, the Reds will try and put together back-to-back wins with another one of their dynamic starting pitchers tomorrow night in Luis Castillo. Struck out 11 in 6 innings of work and should have gotten a win in game 2 of this season against the Detroit Tigers. Sonny Gray was something, wasn't he, Chris?
He was really dynamic again tonight, overpowering at times, excellent with his fastball. I just love the way he pitches to left-handed hitters on the inside part of the plate and then come right back there with the breaking pitches. Struck out Schwarber twice on fastballs, and he's just impressive. He's a guy that gets righties, lefties out, and when he's on, it's going to be a tough day for hitters.
And it was a tough day for Cub pitching, thanks to Mike Moustakas and Nick Senzel coming back, and then everybody being better because they're back. Jim Day, let's send it to you.
Tom, thank you very much. Mike Moustakas, he endeared himself to Reds fans on opening day and endears himself tonight in his return to the field. Big sigh of relief in that clubhouse. Every club goes through stretches like they did the last 4, but much needed victory obviously tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, baseball is a crazy game. You know, you never know what's going to happen when you go out there and play. That's why you play usually 162, but obviously this year's only 60. And unfortunately, you know, the losses are magnified right now, but we got such a great clubhouse, such a great team that we're going to go out there, keep competing every single night, and you know, we did a great job tonight.
You woke up on Sunday morning, you had some symptoms, you stayed away, and through protocols, the absence was longer than probably you anticipated. There are a lot of stories out there. What can you tell us of the process you went through, or what are you willing to tell us of the process that you went through?
Yeah, as a team and an organization, we made a decision that if you're not feeling well one day, when you wake up, that you just stay home, because we just don't know. We don't want to spread anything that we have. So basically, I woke up not feeling well, and called our trainer. He told me to stay home, so I stayed home, and then obviously one thing led to another, and finally got back today, and I'm definitely happy to be back. That's for sure.
Was it frustrating that, I'm assuming you tested negative, and again, I'm going on information I don't know, and I haven't talked to you about this previous to this question, but was it something that you tested negative and you thought that you would be back sooner? Why did it take so long?
Yeah, correct. I tested negative in every test that I've taken so far. And, this organization and, our training staff has done a phenomenal job with everything. I can't give enough credit to them. But, yeah, I've tested negative on every test. And, it just kind of kept going and going and going. And I did everything that I was asked to, which is what we're supposed to do right now. We're in uncertain times. And, if we need to take another test or two, that's what we need to do in order to continue to play baseball. But first and foremost, the safety of our players, our staff, our families, and the other team, that's what's most important. And, we're not taking that lightly in this clubhouse. And we did a great job making sure that I was able to come back as soon as I could.
One of the reasons you said you signed with the Reds was the outstanding starting pitching staff. You faced Sonny Gray before. What's it like playing behind him? You want to talk about being on first two starts.
Absolutely. He's incredible. We needed a win tonight, and that's the guy. That's one of the guys we want on the mound for us. I'll take any of our guys on the mound any single night. But the way Sonny competed tonight, it was a much-needed win, and he did a phenomenal job getting us a huge W.
Thanks for your time. Welcome back.
Always. Thank you, guys.
That is Mike Moustakas, who goes yard again. A much-needed victory for your Cincinnati Reds. And we have more to come here on the home of the Reds, Fox Sports Ohio, after the Reds beat the Cubs.